Hey, this is Adam with the Adam Wines Guitar Academy, and today we're going to talk about how to solo or improvise over rhythm changes, which is pretty popular chord form, specifically in jazz music. There's a lot of songs that use that, those changes. Obviously, I Got Rhythm, and there's Oleo, the Sonny Rollins tune. So I like that tune, for example. So anyway, we're going to get right into it. Obviously, we need to talk about the changes themselves. At first, the song might be kind of confusing, but once you've done it a couple times, it's really not so bad. But we're going to go a couple measures at a time. So it starts out with a B flat major 7 chord. And I'm not going to go over how to play the chords too much. I'm going to assume you know how to play these chords. I may in another video show you how to play the chords, but for today we're going to talk mainly about improvisation. So we have this B flat major 7 chord. It then goes to you can either go G minor 7 or G dominant 7. It doesn't actually really matter too much. I know that sounds like blasphemy, but it's kind of a personal preference thing. So we could either go to G minor 7 or to G dominant 7. So it goes like, the way I think about it is it goes 1 to 6. So, and if you're not familiar with that, those are the scale degrees, the chords you build on scale degrees. So I see rhythm changes in the key of B flat major, personally. And so I see the 1 chord going to the 6 chord. So either 6 minor or 6 dominant, however you want to do it. It's all, either one is totally cool. Then it goes to the 2 chord, C minor 7. Then it goes to F7, F dominant 7. And then it does 3, 6 again. So it goes to 3, which is D minor 7, to 6, but dominant 7, so G7. And then it goes back to 2 and 5. So that's like the first 4 bars, I suppose. Now, most jazz musicians will tell you always have to play the changes, and that is absolutely correct. However, rhythm changes goes by so quickly most of the time. It's usually like a blistering tempo. So this is what I do. So what I do with all jazz tunes is I take a helicopter view and then I start to hone in. So in that helicopter view, I look at the overall general key, which happens to be B flat major, and I just start there and I let my ear guide me, especially on fast tunes. So what that means is I'm basically going to use the B flat major scale through the first 4 bars. And I'm going to let my ear kind of guide me onto what tones I emphasize as the chords are flying by. And again, this is mainly because the tune is just so quick. It's so fast, such a fast tempo. If it was a ballad, I would focus more heavily on the chord tones. But you'd be surprised, your ear is usually a lot better than you give it credit for. So as you're playing in a B flat major phrase, you will kind of naturally hit chord tones if you use your ear properly. But basically, what I do, so as I go to improvise, I find a B flat on the guitar, usually that one, just because I was over here a second ago. You could grab any B flat. And a little trick you can do is just play the B flat scale from where you are. So what I mean by that is I use my pinky to have this B flat. So then I'm going to go to the C right here on the G string, and then the D right here, 7th fret of the G, and this E flat. So I'm going to have, and I would probably also go back down here too. So it's almost kind of like G minor as well. B flat major and G minor are the same thing. So anyway, that's kind of like where I would start. So it's pretty blistering fast. So that's so quick. So I'd be like something like that along those lines, like a B flat major line. That's how I would start personally. And so I'm just playing notes in the key of B flat. Basically with that key, all you need to remember is that you have B flat and E flat. If you do that, you're good to go. Now, if you're more advanced, you could take this all over the guitar. You can start down at this B flat right here. Hit an E natural on accident, but that's okay. So if I do that, just use it as a chromatic note. So I'll throw in some chromatic notes too on the way to chord tones. So I'll be, playing in B flat, and then I might do something. So I hit that E natural again, that sort of thing. So yeah, again, you really use my ear and let it kind of take over in such a high tempo. Now, if it was really slow, like I said, we could do more chord tones. We could do arpeggios like B flat major, G7, hitting that B natural, or hit that B flat, because you can either think of that chord as G minor, or you could think of it as altered dominant, that altered dominant G7. And then it gets to the C minor, just doing a C minor arpeggio, F7, F7 arpeggio. So some of this may be very simple to you, or it may be like Chinese. So it depends on how long you've been playing guitar. Basically in jazz, you really have to know your chord tones like that, like at the drop of a hat. But like I said, because it's going by so quickly, it would be pretty challenging to do those arpeggios in tempo. So like I said, I usually, because it's so fast, I'll be playing the scale, throwing a chromatic note in there, threw an F sharp in there that time. So that's the kind of thing I would do. So the great thing about this song is this A section, so we're in the A section, the first 4 bars repeats quite a bit. So that's that first like A. So then we're still in the A, and we're gonna come to the next set of 4. And in this part, it kind of basically shifts gears over into E flat major. So we're throwing in an A flat note in there. So before we had B flat and E flat, now we have to throw this A flat in there. So when that happens, it's basically, it starts off, so you got, from the beginning at 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5. Then it goes to this F minor 7 to B flat 7, dominant 7. So 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5. Then it goes to E flat major. Then it goes to A flat, either A flat dominant or A flat major 7. Either one will work. It's cool because it's so fast. So really, it's really just emphasizing this E flat, key of E flat major. So anyway, that's what happens there in that little section. And then it goes right back into B flat major. The first A, it does 3, 6, 2, 5 again. So all that to say is once that second bar of 4 happens, I shift gears into E flat major. That's what's going through my head when I'm improvising on this. So before, during the first 4 bars, doing some B flat stuff, that was a B flat. It's one of my favorite licks. That's a B flat major 7 arpeggio. Just going backwards. So B flat A, F, D, and then just repeating. So anyway, so I'm starting off, and then I'll go into some kind of scale thing. But then goes into this part, or the dominant. It doesn't matter. We go. This is where the E flat happens. So then I'm going to grab an E flat, probably somewhere around here. I'm just going up the scale. I kind of skipped over to the B flat, something like that. Might hit that. No, that's that A flat I mentioned. That's going to change this into the key of E flat. So all I'm doing is I've just switched the keys of B flat major into E flat. So the first 4 bars, key of B flat, chromatic note in there. Then it's in the second 4 bars. Now I'm going to switch over to the key of E flat. Really, all I need to change is that I hit an A flat instead of an A. So that's what I'm thinking. Then, like I said, it immediately just goes right back into the key of B flat. So you got the 3, 6, 2, 5, and yeah. So just going right back into the key of B flat. On this D minor, I might do something like this. And this actually is going to get an E natural in there. But that's cool, it's jazz, we can do that. That's one of my favorite things to do on a minor chord. So on the 3, 6 part. And then it goes to the C minor 7. I'm hitting a 9th there. And then, so the way that lick works is if you take your minor chord, whatever it is, so say it was D minor 7, we go to the 9th, which is just a step up from the root. So that says D, so that's 2 frets away, it's E. You get this little arpeggio, and it also works as a chord. This is actually an F major 7 chord. So I slide into that E, kind of come down, that kind of deal. And then it's the same shape on the D minor, so just coming 2 frets back. Oh, excuse me, the C minor. So we have the D minor, which we did that. and it's going to go into the C minor to F7. I'm hitting the 9th here, so which is where I'm going to start. So, because it's C minor 7, going to hit this D. It's the same exact thing, it's just 2 frets back. So this thing. And then I just hit a little scale at the bottom. So like there, that's E flat, D, C. So basically, to kind of sum up the A section, 6, 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5. Then it goes into E flat major, 2, 5, 1, 4, dominant or major, doesn't matter. Then 3, 6, 2, 5. So what I'll do, like I said, improvise in B flat. Then it goes into E flat major. So I just did E flat major 7 arpeggio. And I was just kind of playing around in E flat major. Then remember that 3, 6, 2, 5 happened, so I might do. And then we're back at the top again. So, same exact thing. The only thing that'll change now, so it'll go 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5. Switch keys to E flat, 2, 5, 1, 4. Now instead of going 3, 6, 2, 5 in B flat major, it's just going to go 2, 5, 1. And this is going to be before the bridge of the song. And it's the same kind of thing. It's just back in B flat major. So I would do the same stuff, start in B flat major, maybe go somewhere else on the fretboard, and then E flat major, and that A flat in there, do something chromatic, and then back into B flat major, back to the A natural, and then it starts over again, A again, doing the same stuff, into E flat major, back into B flat major, and now it's like on that one chord, my ear kind of just gravitated towards that B flat. This is right before we go into the bridge. Now, something that used to hold me back when I was first starting jazz is I wasn't paying attention to my ear. So I would try to remember chord progressions without really hearing them. So I would just remember the letters, and I wouldn't really critically think with my ear. And a lot of times it's just psychological. We don't realize how good our ears are. So we surprise ourselves when you just kind of turn that on in your brain. So one real easy thing to hear in this song, in my opinion, is the bridge, because the bridge is completely different from the rest of the song. Usually the bass might even do a pedal or something like that. So it's not so bad when you notice that. It'll be very clear and obvious when he gets to the bridge. So if you ever get lost playing this song, listen for the bridge. If you hear the bridge, it'll kind of save you. And so the bridge is just dominant chords, a bunch of different dominant chords. So it starts with a D dominant 7, and then it does a cycle 4 thing. All that means is we go up in fourths using dominant chords. So we have this D7, then it's going to go to G7. So G is a fourth away from D if you count your hand, D, E, F, G. Then it's going to go to C, because C is 4 away from G. So C7, and then it's going to go to F7. And those are 2 measures each. So, you're going to hear, when you hear that, you're not in the bridge. So when you hear, that's a completely different feel, completely different sound to what was going on in the A sections. So there's so many different cool things you can do on the dominant chords. I'm going to try to keep it simple. I'm going to do 2 easy, simple things. I'm not going to mess with the altered dominant today. Well, actually, I might. So the first thing is we'll do Mixolydian. Real easy thing we can kind of think of. So I'm going to think of my chord being right here. So here's my D. And I'm a fan of the 3-note per string scales, personally. And so the Mixolydian, when you have your root note, so this is going to be this stretch out shape where it's 10, 12, 14, and you do it 3 times. So I'm going to keep it real simple and just play around in that area. So as the D7's happening, I'm just going to do just kind of play around in that area of the guitar. Then it's going to go to G7, and I can do the same thing. This is going to be my starting point. This is the G on the A string. Same shape, it's just on some different strings. Then on the C7, just the C down here, can do the same thing. The F7, same idea on the A string, starting on the F. I can do that stretch out shape again. Basically, I'm going 2 frets away. So here's your first fret, 2 frets away, 2 frets away. Same thing on the next string. So seeing that little grid can be very helpful as a beginner or an intermediate player. So, D7, G7. Throw in some chromatic notes there. Very simple stuff, very easy, keeps you on track. Now, if you're more advanced, you can just take that all over the fretboard, D Mixolydian and so forth. If you're not familiar with Mixolydian, it's just the major scale starting from the 5th degree. So for example, D Mixolydian is really just the key of G major, starting on D. So the notes there are D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, and so forth. That's all Mixolydian is. So the next thing I could do, real simple, is do some pentatonic stuff. Now, you can obviously do the major pentatonic, that'll work fine, but to me, it sounds kind of hokey. So what I like to do is, this is a real easy way to play altered dominant lines, is I like to play the minor pentatonic on the dominant chord. So for example, D7, I like to play D minor pentatonic because that gives you the sharp 9. So you end up hitting the F note there, and that's a sharp 9, which is an altered tone. So one of my personal favorite things to do is to play some pentatonic, minor pentatonic on top of a dominant chord. It works shockingly well. It doesn't make sense, but it sounds great. Then the G dominant 7. Same thing, I'm playing the G minor pentatonic. So this is starting from the 5th string. Very similar shape, but what happens is when you get to the 2nd string, you have to do that instead. So that's 11 to 13. So you have to mess with it a little bit. And then the C7, F7. Hit a wrong notes again. Should have did that. So anyway, that's kind of what I might do. Or I might mix it up. So Mixolydian. Chromatic note in there. C7, pentatonic. It's kind of weird, you got to hit that note because you really want to do that. So you got to just make sure you hit that. So that's what I would do there. Then on the way out, it just does another like A section again, like the 2nd A of the top. So what I mean by that is it does the 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5, switches to E flat. And it just, instead of doing 3, 6, 2, 5 at the end, it's just 2, 5, 1. That's all that's really happening. So some of this may have been a little too advanced, or it might have been too simple. So hopefully you got some benefit from that. I'm sure later on I'll do some more in-depth courses to go really in-depth with stuff. But hopefully that gives you some ideas. More importantly, I'm hoping that comes across how I'm thinking when I improvise to help you with how you're thinking. That's like half the battle. If you have a clear plan of how you're thinking when you go to improvise, you'll have a much easier time. If you're kind of stuck in like, oh man, should I play this scale or that scale, or should I play all arpeggios? I always like to take the simplest approach first and then get more complicated. So again, I hope that is of value. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.